Welcome to the Nursing Dose with your host, Dr. Farah Laurent, host of the Nurses Making Business Moves Conference. I'm so excited today to have the keynote speaker for the conference, the wonderful Veronica Safoa Owusu. And she's going to introduce herself in just a moment, but we're so excited to have you.
Yes, oh my goodness. Dr. Farah, I just love saying it that way. Dr. Farah. I remember the journey and just witnessing the whole journey. I'm just so inspired by you and how far you've come. And the conference is next level. Like, this is a move that bold people take, courageous people take, that people have the audacity or the audacious vision and are not, they're not trembling because they don't have all the answers, even though they don't have the answers and they don't know how it's going to roll out. They're still taking action. And Dr. Farah, you're one of those people that really stand out in that way. So thank you for having me. And we go way back, I know. But I just wanted to acknowledge that.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. And she actually, Veronica, we met approximately almost 5 years ago.
Wow.
And she was one of my first business coaches. She's been amazing. And I've been following her journey and her growth. And she's just been so inspiring to me and to so many other entrepreneurs. And that's why, I decided to have her as the keynote speaker. So for those that don't really know you, if you're not following her, make sure you follow her on LinkedIn and other platforms. But tell them, about you, about your business and what you do.
Wow. So over the past decade, officially founding V Power Coaching, right? That has morphed and changed and grown into so many things. Where do I even start? Well, most people know me as Veronica Safoa Owusu, V Power Coach. That's what I'm known for. V being Veronica, and power, the power that I had to step into. And yes, even though I'm known as V Power, there was a time when I felt pretty much V powerless. But that's a story for another time. So, of course, known as V Power, it's all about power. But what is power? People mistake power for, influence or performance, how much you can perform, how much you can achieve. For me, real power is in your presence. And so V Power Coaching right now at this stage is all about helping visionaries, change makers, founders navigate the personal challenges that come with the public brilliance. And it's all about how we lead in alignment and live with presence so that we can expand our impact, we can achieve our goals, we can make that difference without losing our humanity. And this is the key. So for me, my new kind of slogan is presence is a new power. Yes, the gold dust is all over that, but presence is a new power. And it's a mindset shift. I don't call it mindset, I call it a recalibration, because that's really what we need to do with the mindset. Recalibrate it in order to, grow our businesses more effectively without losing ourselves in the process. Because what is the point, Vera, if we fulfill the mission, but we lose ourselves in the process? How can the one carrying the mission, right, lose the mission of their own humanity in the process of serving others or in the name of serving others? So the work I do is very deep. Sprinkle out. So that's in a nutshell what V Power is about, right? And I use, of course, what I call the gold dust recalibration experience. It's a process where we recalibrate how you respond to life stimulus and life signals and how we build from that. Too many people are in reactive mode in business. They're all on reactivity mode rather than recalibrating and choosing how we respond rather than how we react will make a big difference in how we grow or how we break. So
yeah, I mean,
power.
This is so powerful. And y'all, this is why she is going to be the keynote speaker at the Nurses Making Business Moves conference, right? Because it's so deep, right? Like when we think about business, actually, I was watching a podcast that I follow pretty frequently. It's called The Department. And he's a preacher and he's also an entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. And he relates a lot of spiritual, faith-based things related to entrepreneurship. And that's the kind of sense as well. I know when I worked with you as well, there's a lot of deep work to be done, a lot of inner work. But I really think that it boils down to a lot of like faith, belief, and spirituality, right? In entrepreneurship and business. Because if we don't believe in ourselves, our skills, capabilities, and what we can bring to others in terms of service and impact, it's going to be very difficult for us to lead the business, right? So I'm so excited, like I said, to kind of talk about this and really to get into the conference. Number one, thank you so much for coming all the way from the UK to Tampa. I wanted to ask, what are you most excited about this conference?
Oh, I'm excited of stepping into a room of powerhouses, of other women that are looking to build themselves, build their businesses, and also going deeper into understanding the reason why we're there. When we look at the multi-layered reason why we're there, we're not just there to, of course, speak, to network and to learn some strategies. We're really here so that we can be better individuals for ourselves, for our kids, for our families, right? For generations to come. This is not surface level, just strategy. This is deeper meaning. Every single person there has come there for a reason. And I'm most excited about tapping into that essence so that they leave not just equipped with the skills and the mindset, but with the presence to be able to pursue their mission, to pursue those business goals, to grow with presence so that they don't lose themselves. I've seen it too often. Yes. Like I've been in this too long in this arena not to recognize that majority of us will lose ourselves in the process of fulfilling our purpose in the name of the mission. And I'm always like, so where is the mission holder? Where's the one that's carrying it? Where are they at? So it really takes a lot more to navigate this complexity of building your business and growing your business so that it's sustainable. Like, so Farah, you've been in this I see you going for another decade, like you're in this. I've seen people come and go, come in and then fall back. But the difference here is that you're sustainable and you're growing and you're expanding. And that is not just by chance, that is by design.
Well, I mean, part of the success I will have to attribute to you as well, guiding me early on and setting the foundation, because you're so right. We have this impact we want to make. We want to serve people, but a lot of times we do lose ourselves. And I think this is very true, not just in entrepreneurship in general, but even in nurses, because our nature is to nurture others and to take care of others. And a lot of times we lose ourselves in the profession, in the service. And I'm guilty of this a lot of times. I have to like scale back and be like, okay, I got to take care of me first. Like even today, I had a dental appointment and I'm like, oh, should I cancel it? I'm like, no,
I'm glad you didn't.
Simple things like that, in our own lives. Like you said, if we want to be there for our kids, our families, a lot of times we start businesses so we can have more freedom with our families, our kids, but then sometimes it kind of just takes us over, right? So a lot of us, I think the core thing, like you said, is to be in alignment, to have that clarity as well as to like, what should I do now? Because so many people get lost in that. So tell me.
No, I'm like itching. I'm itching here in my seat because what's going to happen, and I can see this 99.9% of the time, people are going to be in performance mode. I get it. They're here to perform, right? To get that visibility, to put themselves out there, to get the following, to grow that audience. All these are relevant and very, very important. They're essentials, Like without that, you don't have a business, right? You need to have the clientele, you need to have that. But my message, really, I hope it seeps into the fabric of the soul, that when you show up from a performance perspective, it's not sustainable, because when the applause stops, when the visibility dims down, when the algorithm changes and you're not getting the same results, you're going to be very depressed, and you're going to you're going to start figuring out or wondering, what's wrong with me? What am I not doing right? And you're going to be you're going to collapse. The performer in you is going to collapse. So yes, show up with all that energy, but from a space of presence, because presence is not the performing factor. The presence is there, of course, for the mission, but it's also there to not only fulfill the mission, but also sustain themselves and also understand why they're doing it. With the whole idea of presence, that you understand now. You understand that everyone is putting out a show. Everyone is performing. Everyone is just here for, the show, the spotlight. But when the lights shut down, trust me, it's going to be dark out there. And only those that are going to be driven and fueled by the presence, their own presence and their why, and they understand that this is not for a performance. This is deeper. This is greater. This is, wider. They're the ones that are going to rise like cream. So I really, it's not going to be easy, but LinkedIn is changing. It's morphing into different things. Today I was even I created a post about that, and people are dropping off like flies, because now there's no one to perform for. Nobody's watching. Reach is very low, and so on and so forth. So there's no audience. What do I do? With presence, you're it's not what do I do, it's what is this evoking out of me? What is it that I'm called to do in this silence, in this moment? That's presence. That's an example of what presence looks like there.
Yeah. And like you said, in those moments where, it's not about vanity metrics and all these things, as we know, obviously in business, to drive the business forward, you do need revenue, you need clients, right? But like you said, what's really going to sustain you is having that fulfillment of, working with the clients and making the impact. I just made a post earlier today. I was live a couple days ago, and someone on TikTok came up and said, "Hey, I want to thank you for creating content for new nurses, because just from watching your videos, I landed a labor and delivery position." And that made my whole week, right? She was not a paying client, but it, those tough times when you're like, oh, do I create another post? Do I do something else? That's what drives me forward, because essentially most of us are helping our younger selves as entrepreneurs, right? So that was me as a nursing student, as a new grad. I didn't have that guidance. I didn't have a nurse career coach. So that fuels me to keep going and to fuel my drive. And I think that's what has sustained me, like you said, this far, is because I enjoy doing this, and I see the transformation that it's really impacting nurses globally. Even if we think, oh, no one is watching us, no one's listening to our message, it is resonating with people. And I think that's also important. And once you can find that purpose and that impact, I think that's what will drive you. But I think a lot of people, get that shiny object syndrome, and they keep wanting to change.
Yes, we've all been there.
Yeah,
we've all done that. Yes, and definitely you learn your lesson very quickly. I mean, my story back in Poland, losing everything, losing myself in that whole process, where I was left with totally nothing. And the question that I always share today, and it's the North Star of everything I do: who I am, who am I without all the labels that I had once identified myself with? Who am I when everything that I'd once identified myself with ceases to exist? What is left of you, Veronica? Because this is the thing, right? When you don't have it all, when you lose all that shiny stuff, what is left of you? And if you don't understand, if you can't answer that question, that's where the recalibration really needs to happen.
Yeah. So for those that are watching out there, and shout out to everybody, Dr. Kimberly Madison, one of my good friends, Claudia Garcia. Thank you, everybody. Alande, thanks for joining. Let us know if you have any questions or comments. Even if you're watching the replay, drop them in the chat. But I wanted to ask you, what is one tip that you will give to any entrepreneur, whether they're a nurse entrepreneur or any entrepreneur, that's starting their journey and they're struggling with clarity and the mindset piece, however you want to call it, the recalibration. They're struggling with what should they do next, or how do they start, because it can be so overwhelming. So what are some tips that you may have for them?
Do you know what came to my mind? Dance. Just dance, and the clarity will pop up like the bubble pops up from the bottom of a lake and it surfaces and just comes to you. Mm-hmm. When do the best ideas come to you, Farah? Let me ask you a question. When do the best ideas come to you? What are you doing when the best ideas come to you? What are you doing when you have a eureka moment? What are you doing when you have that light bulb moment? What are you doing when clarity comes to you? Tell me.
Well, I was just talking about this with somebody who creates some of my flyers for the conference, the creativity. So really, it's when I'm at a relaxed state. It's typically when I'm laying down, reflecting, or I'm in the shower, right? Like,
yes.
Or, taking a walk, like in a relaxed or creative state. Yeah.
This is it. This is it.
And I love my music. I saw you dancing.
So, I mean, I could give you all the answers that everybody wants to hear about clarity. I can, tell you all the nice polished things that you can Google right now. How do I find clarity? I can do that because that's a simple way. So I'll allow your guests to go to Google and ask Google that question because it's out there. I want to give something different, right?
Yeah.
If you're looking for clarity, what's my next step? That question on its own is wrong. What is my spirit called to do now? Like now, this is presence. Because when you're thinking what to do next, you're like in the future. You're like, okay, you're not present. You're looking for solutions out there. You're looking at somebody else, what the person is doing. You're looking at somebody else who's succeeded and who's making it and who's, looking outside. You're not present. That is not presence. That's a performer in you. Presence is when you ask the right questions as well, and you recalibrate that mind that tries to wander around and says, if you're not doing what they're doing, that you're falling behind. That's not presence. You're not present. Presence is, okay, what is my soul? What is my spirit? What is my energy drawn to now? And trust you me, the answer will surface. It could be make that phone call. It could be, something will pop into your mind, or it will be, journal this. Oh, let me research that. Oh, actually, listen, I had an idea, and literally within that same hour, I made a few phone calls and I have some meetings tomorrow, right?
Yes.
It's like you need to be present, or else you're going to stay stuck forever asking the wrong question. What do I do next?
Yes.
So I get that question. Yeah.
I love how you brought that up. The gold dust. So this is what it is. So I know Dr. Kimberly Madison and some other people that I spoke to before I had the idea of the conference. And I think I spoke to you about this too.
Yes, I remember.
There was something literally for weeks. It was just something like a voice, something that just kept talking to me and it would not leave me. And it just kept saying, like, you need to do this. You need to do this now. Stop overthinking it. And then I was like, okay, let's go. And I think that's what it is. I think most people don't listen to that presence, that voice, or that deep spiritual nudge, whatever it is, God trying to speak to you, the universe, whatever it is. But when you're in solitude, in silence, and at peace, in a relaxed state, I think that's when it comes to you, like you said. And that's how this conference started, because I took action on it. And I'm like, well, if it takes off, it takes off. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I always say I pulled it off in less than 3 months. And I yes, I could take all the credit for it, but I'm not, because I say that honestly, it was the universe and it was God. I'm like, God was my event planner, because it couldn't have gone more smoothly than it did. Obviously, yes, I had to do some work and, do
Of
some content
course, it
marketing,
comes with that.
but it came together beautifully because I think it was just meant to be. And that's just what it is. So,
So I hope
yeah.
I've answered the question.
Yes.
If somebody
Thank
out there is asking that question, what's the next best step? What you're lacking clarity? You're not lacking clarity. I have a glass of water here, and water is transparent. That's what we are. We are already clear. It's just that the murk is just bubbling all around, and you have foggy, murky water because of all those external thoughts. You're not present. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
being
a lot of times entrepreneurs, because I also help, nurses that are wanting to become entrepreneurs or early in their journey, help them, with branding, content creation, and different things like that. And a lot of times, they'll say, well, I'm going to ask, they ask their friends, they ask their family, well, what should I do? Or what should I do? And I'm like, okay, stop talking to everybody. Right. And like, what do you want to do type thing. So, and then we kind of dig deeper. So, my other question, we have about a couple minutes left. What do you think entrepreneurs or nurse entrepreneurs should kind of be aware of, right? So there's going to be challenges all throughout. That's going to be always there. But how do they navigate those challenges and like give them some steps?
Yeah.
Any wisdom that you have, because I know you have a lot.
Yeah. So if you're facing a challenge, right? An obstacle, first of all, you have to understand what you're dealing with. Okay. Sometimes we perceive obstacles as obstacles when they are not actually obstacles, and it's just a perception. It's just your own mind's rendering. So make sure it's not your own mental rendering that is perceiving that as an obstacle, because what is happening externally to us, that is the stimulus, right? Somebody said something, the client didn't show up, the content didn't, perform as we had wanted to. Like, well, what challenge, right? Money drying up in the bank, whatever it is, that's the stimulus that's coming in from the external world. Now, our job, your job, is to attach meaning to that stimulus. And this is where the problem starts. The narrative in your mind is a rendered mind movie that now takes that signal, drying up bank account. Somebody said this, no engagement from that, right? I feel like everybody's ghosting. These are the signals. And how you render it, meaning how you attach meaning to that external stimulus, is how you're going to experience it. So if you say I'm facing a challenge, it's only because your mind movie is labeling it as such. So once you understand that, okay, is this an actual challenge, or is this something that I need to understand better? Or is this something I need to see in a wider perspective? Or is this an opportunity in disguise? You have to understand it, because if you label something straight away as a challenge, then that is what it's going to be.
Yes, perception. Yeah. And I had to learn this throughout my career. And I think you've also helped me with this too. Even in the times where I got laid off multiple times, and I know it happens to people, right? Different things happen, or maybe one business fails and you have to step into another. I know, pivoting, but I think adaptability is such a strong skill to have as an entrepreneur. And I think that's why nurses do so well in entrepreneurship, because we're so adaptable. But, being laid off, you can look at it as like, in the beginning, I was looking at it like negatively. I was angry in the beginning. And then I was like,
your mind movie. Right?
Yeah. Then I was like, you know what? This is maybe God removing me from something and saying, hey, there's a new chapter, a new opportunity. Let's go make something happen. Right. So, yeah, it's definitely perspective. Another thing quickly that I want to address is pricing in entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Many nurses that I speak to are very afraid about charging more, right? Value-based pricing. And they get stuck in this like, well, from like employee mindset to entrepreneur and that value. So like, what
Mhm.
tips do you have on that? Because I know it has to do with thinking, is it worth what I'm giving worth somebody giving me that money or whatever it is? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, what are your
I
thoughts on
see
that?
what you're saying. I'm not only going to give tips, I'm going to give real life experience. Okay.
Yeah.
This is a frequency issue. It's
Hmm.
your vibrational frequency. First of all, money is just frequency, right?
Hmm.
And when I left my teaching career, because I came from a teaching career, as teachers, especially back in Poland, we hardly earned, like, it was really a
Yeah.
laughable amount. And unfortunately, that was the experience I had had for so many years, having a teacher's salary. So imagine now stepping into entrepreneurship, setting up my own business, my own coaching business, and here you have a coaching arena where the spectrum is so wide. People are charging 5 figures for one session, and then people are charging 2 figures for one. Like, the spectrum was crazy.
Yes.
I was like, oh
Yes.
my goodness. Okay, here I am, a single mom. No help. Gosh, what am I going to do? I need to gain that freedom.
Hmm.
It was such a struggle in the beginning to reach that frequency of pricing. So, what I had to do was really work on my own frequency and relationship with money,
Yes.
and understand that once I can really love it, embrace it, understand it, be at peace with it, right?
Hmm.
And understand that the value that I bring forth is truly worth it. That's when the frequency changes, and it doesn't change straight away. So you'll notice in the beginning, you may not be charging as much, right? But you have to charge within a frame that makes you feel a little bit uncomfortable, but not crazy, because your nervous system will panic. And even during discovery calls, when they ask you how much, you're going to fumble. The words can't even come out of your mouth because it's
Yeah.
just your nervous system is such a wreck. It's just so hijacked. So you have to start with a price, especially if you're beginning, if you're a beginner, right?
Mm.
But know that with time, you raise your vibration, you build your confidence, and you raise your prices. And every time I was elevating to a new level of my own business, right, there
Yeah.
comes a period called the plateau. When the moment you're changing your frequency and you're advancing, you're ascending, right?
Hmm.
You're now entering greater waters. You're charging now more. There'll be a time of adjustment. It's literally, I think everybody has experienced. I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
Everybody has experienced this. There'll be a moment of adjustment where things are not really happening. It's like things have slowed down more than they used to. Things used to be going very well, and things all of a sudden slow down when you're elevating. Notice. And
Hmm.
then, but that is not you be having a problem. That's just your nervous system adjusting to the new frequency. And then the first time I made my first 10K, I'm like, boom, that's where I am at. I'm like, oh, and I said it like, oh yeah, okay, this is what I charge, and right, okay, and this is what it is, and this is how we're gonna
Yeah.
work. Like, it comes so easily because now your nervous system is
Hmm.
at that frequency. So answering that question of pricing is a journey. Don't
Yes.
be too hard on
Yes.
yourself. Give yourself some grace, especially if I'm talking about if you're really beginning, like really, really
Hmm.
beginning, not
Yeah.
when you're
Yeah.
seasoned. You will notice. So yeah, they say
Yeah.
charge your worth, charge your value. That's easy to say, but what does that mean? Ah, I know. You have to, of course, navigate the market, what's already out there, right? Because there is kind of a spectrum within your market and how much
Hmm.
usually goes around that industry. You have to, of course, be
Yeah.
acquainted with that as well, right?
And you have to be comfortable with no's because you don't
Mm,
want to work with just everybody, right? Again, this could be another conversation for another day,
yeah.
but you want to work with people who see the value, who you enjoy working with, and you're in alignment with your values. Kind of like how I started working with you because I was very aligned with your values and everything you did. So tell everybody how they can reach you if they would like to work with you, and, please connect with her on LinkedIn, but tell them how they can reach you.
First of all, I want you to download the High Presence Being. It's called High Presence Being Diagnostic. It's a diagnostic to see where you are at in your presence. Are you kind of outside of yourself? Are you within yourself and functioning from that space? So I have a quick 3-minute diagnostic. It's called the High Presence Being as a human being diagnostic. So download that. It's on my page, on my LinkedIn page. And of course, my website, v-powercoaching.com. LinkedIn is where I reside.
Yes.
So there are multiple ways to get in touch.
And I'll put all your links there later. And of course, come meet her in person. She's coming all the way from the UK to Tampa, Florida, to be the keynote speaker at Nurses Making Business Moves. You can get your tickets at nursesmakingbusinessmoves.com. You can come hang out with us and be in community, network, do all the things, and, get to ask her your questions and get to hang out with us. So again, thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Farah.
Hopefully, maybe we'll have you on again sometime next year if you have some time to come through. And again, thank you for all your wisdom. Any last words for everybody?
Oh, wow. Come to the conference. I can't wait to see you there. This is not just a conference. This is an experience.
Yes.
I saw the different keynote speakers that are going to be there. It's a deep dive experience. You're going to leave with a whole new nervous system, a whole new mindset, and a whole new, verve for life. So make sure you're there. Go dust.
Go dust.
And there's going to be some dancing as well.
Of course, because we always love to dance.
Yes.
And DJ on the Friday night. So I can't wait to see you in person. It's going to be phenomenal. Thank you again for your time. Please connect with her on LinkedIn and get your tickets so we can all hang out in person. All right. Thank you again. Talk to you soon. Thanks, everyone.